So today we have an individual who's not only a producer, songwriter, singer, engineer, music director. I mean, if I didn't know better, I would have thought this was ChatGPT, but I can't even give ChatGPT that credit because this is a human being who brings in the soul. Something you can feel. I know y'all heard that song, right? Something you can feel. He brings it. Not only does he bring it, he keeps not only the audacity and the presence of it, but he comes with such humbleness, with only greatness prevails. So without further ado, let's give a round of applause to our guest, Marcus Devine. What's going on, my brother?
What's up, bro? How you feeling, man?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you for coming on to the set.
Thanks for having me, man.
Oh man, I know you've been moving and shaking and you got a lot going on, so I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, I want to jump in and set the tone. You know, there was one thing I came across, and you know, you're a big basketball fan. Like, you wanted to play ball.
Yeah, man. I thought I was gonna play basketball for the NBA, man. I played basketball every day when I was younger. I had music in my life, but I wasn't taking it serious. You know what I mean? So
I get you. I'm a ball lover. That's where I got my name from, Spud. You know, from the Spud. So I'm a ball head myself. Okay. But one of the stories that really struck me was being called home. Your mother would sing, and you had to come home on the harmony.
Yeah.
Could you take us back to that moment of, you know, just being intertwined with the love and having music being a presence in your life?
From when I was born, man, music was always in the house. For Christmas, I always got a musical instrument or a basketball. That's all I wanted every year for Christmas. And my mom, she had this thing. I don't know, she knew what was gonna go down in the future and prepare me. I thought she was being cruel when I was little. You know what I mean? She called me in from playing basketball. I'm having a ball. All my friends in the backyard, and she coming in the house. She got me coming in the house. As soon as she starts singing, me, my brother, and my sister, we got to come in on that harmony. Or I can't go back outside and play basketball. So I only missed my note a couple times. After that, I was like, nah, I'm cool.
We got to keep that balance, right? We got to keep that balance.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody. I know Mother's Day just passed, so sending big Mother's Day wishes to everybody and everybody listening. But not a lot of individuals could say, you know, at the age of 13, I actually, you know, wrote a song with my mother.
Yeah.
Could you talk about like that aspect of getting into the music at such a young age, with, you know, with, I could say, like the first loves of our lives?
As I am now, old as I am now, I can understand and appreciate it more. You know, when I was younger, because it was around. You know, it's like if your dad is rich, you don't think about money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But because my mom, she wrote songs all the time, I didn't think like, oh, I get to write with my mama. It was like, oh, that's what we do. You know what I mean? But it wasn't until I got older to be like, yo, she set me up for the alley-oop. You know what I mean?
Straight up.
For real. Like, you know what I mean? I thought I was going to play basketball, but she set me up for the alley-oop of music. And it was dope to be able to write songs. I wrote a few songs with her when I was younger.
Yeah, that's a blessing. When did you feel the sense? I know when we're young and like you said, the things are being presented for us and we don't really see it or understand it. And we have our own things that we developing. But when was that moment where you were like, dang, like music, like I'm doing this, like I'm gonna do this?
Well, the first time was in high school. I sung "On the Wings of Love" in a talent show, and I saw how the girls responded. so that opened up the door. I'm like, I play basketball. They be at the game, but they don't be going crazy like this. Like, you know what I mean? So that opened up my eyes a little bit. Like, yo, girls like singers. So that was my first motivation. And then I heard Teddy Riley and Devine, and that's what turned me on. To be like, that's what I want to do. And I pressed the gas like crazy from that point on. You know what I mean? So.
Wow. And you know that was fairly you was fairly young, because I know by the age of 16 you had 2 placements.
Yeah.
So could you talk about that transition from like, you know what, I'm gonna sing this song to like, you know, I'm gonna write and get something placed. Like, how was that transition?
And that's the crazy thing. At that point, we call it a placement because it was, but I wasn't looking at it as a placement. I wanted somebody to hear my music. I wanted somebody to think I was good enough. It wasn't even about the money. It wasn't about, nothing. I was in the choir, and we were getting ready to start recording the album, and I just wrote these songs, man. And I took it to the guy, and he was like, "You wrote these?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "All right." And we went in the studio, and I was able to finish doing the music and everything right there in the studio with them, and I'm 16, 16 going on 17, and wrote my first record, man.
16 going on 17. Like
Yeah, man.
your pen was immaculate.
Yeah. Well, it was a little rusty. I ain't gonna front. Like, it was rusty, but it was good enough to get the look. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Now, I go back now, it'll be a whole it'll be a whole different song.
I dig it. I dig it. Now, all right, you're 16. You wrote these records. You just wanted someone to hear it. It's like, here, and they like, yeah, we want to use this record. Like, how do you personally feel from that part? Like, how does that take you to the next stage of like who you are?
It definitely was confidence building. You know what I'm saying? It definitely made me think like, yo, you could do this for real. Just keep on. And the love of it, everything became a song. Like Marvin Winans wrote a song, like everything you touch is a song. And that's how I felt. Like everything was a song from that point. Once I got a little older, I got married. And my first wife used to laugh at me because the windshield wipers be going shoot, shoot, shoot in the car. That became my metronome. I literally wrote songs to the windshield wipers, like, you know
I
what I
dig
mean?
it.
So everything became a song. That knowing like, oh, somebody does like it. Because I think that's the first step to a lot of people. Because you can write songs all day, if nobody's saying, yo, that's the one, and you don't have the money to put it out yourself, somebody's jumping on and be like, oh, I like that. That gives you the confidence to be like, all right, let me
Let
do
me do
something
that.
different. Let me do something different.
Now, some of the greatest songwriters and writers in general pull from experience, and it usually takes some time. But at a young age, what did you pull from to gear and curate songs that someone actually wanted?
Well, all my early stuff mostly was gospel stuff.
Okay.
So that I feel like that's an easy genre to pull from because those songs are mostly written for you. If you read the Bible, I made a few jokes in the past that so much of us owe God publishing because we steal all the lyrics from the Bible and write songs, and we go on to make millions and millions of dollars and don't give back nothing. You know what I mean? So it was easy. If you know the Bible, you could write a song about anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? As far as the Bible's concerned, you're going through something in life. If you studied up, because a song is really a situation and an answer. So if you read your Bible, you're going through something, that's your situation. You look in the Bible, there's the answer. Put it to a melody, now you got a record.
That's
You know,
true. That's true. Great way and great analogy. I like that one.
you know.
Now, speaking with a lot of people who come, from, the church or the gospel or the word, let's just say the word and incorporate music,
hmm
there's usually I don't want to say usually, but many times there's a conflict of like worldly music. Was that something that you faced, coming from that base and growing into an artist?
Yeah, it was mostly internal though. Like,
Ah,
my mom never told me you better not do R&B music. She never told me that, but because me being in church, you hear that, oh, that's the worldly music, that's the devil music. So subconsciously you start building this thing in your head. I can't do that music, but the whole time I know what R&B music was doing to how it was making me feel.
feel.
You know what I mean? Natalie Cole. I remember sitting up listening to her over and over. Her and my cousin, like listening to her record, like just how her voice felt coming through the speakers, like different stuff like that. But so I was internally battling. And then one day I just told my mom, I said, "Mom, I think I want to do R&B." She said, "Okay." Like, and when she gave me the nod, I'm like, my pastor, anybody could have said something. I didn't care at that point. Once my mom said it was cool, I was
Once
straight.
once mother love speaks, that is confirmation. It's
Yeah, I was good.
confirmation. Now, a lot of things transition for you really early, but you've worked with some really heavy hitters. How did you break into the industry per se in that aspect, getting your name and your mark into the business aspect of working with talents?
Um, it started still from the gospel. Dietrich Hatton, I went to their church. I played bass for Dietrich's father's church,
Okay.
and So that was one of my first touring situations. You know, even though we were gospel, we had like a little edge to it. So we would end up in different arenas with not just gospel people sometimes. And I went out and I did a play called Why Good Girls Like Bad Boys. And that opened me up to a whole nother arena of people. Then stars and artists started coming on. Charlie Wilson came and did one of the shows with us. And then, so it just started going from there. And they got a chance. I wrote all the songs for the play.
Oh,
So
nice.
it started being like, yo, you wrote that? Oh, I need a record. Oh, you such and such. Oh, I need somebody to play for me. I need this. And it just grew from there. And I went to a rehearsal. I don't hope I ain't jumping the gun, but I went to a rehearsal and Aaliyah. That opened me up to a whole nother situation. And then it just grew and grew. And I think that's how every situation comes. I look at every situation like it ain't about this situation. If you see me on stage with an artist, I always say I'm not up there for that artist. I'm up there for that other artist that's looking at me to be like, oh, I like him.
I like
I,
it.
I need that. You know, that's how I look at it.
Nice, nice. And just for context and everybody that's listening on, the apps or Bushwick Radio, we are here with Marcus Devine, singer, songwriter, producer, engineer, music director, who's worked with the likes of Destiny's Child, 112, Aaliyah, Silk, Charlie Wilson, Faith Evans. I mean, the name goes on and on. How do you balance this great humbleness? Like you could be up here right now, like, yeah, this is what I did, yo, check me out. How do you balance that humbleness, my brother?
Okay, now you're gonna get the honest side of Marcus, right?
That I love it. Cause come on.
Okay, that's there. That is there, but it's all in the work, though. You understand what I'm saying? Like a lot of times when you see this, that's overcompensating because it don't come out in the work. Mine is there. You know what I mean? When I put my hands to it, when I put my mind to it, that's when you get that version of Marcus. You know what I mean? So it doesn't have to offend you. All of that energy going to you liking what I do. You know, I don't enter nothing not knowing who I am. I always know who I am. I don't have to tell nobody. I just have to be who I am, and it'll speak for itself. So,
My man, spoken like a true legend, a true legend. I've once heard the quote, he's a hood boy who went to church.
yeah,
He's the hood boy who went to church.
yeah.
And I could see all the aspects and elements of that. Now, a lot of the sit downs that I've watched and I wanted to take all the information and really appreciate what you've done. And a lot of it kind of skipped this one aspect that I'm very curious about. You've been in many spaces, and we know this is the music industry, and there's a lot of business to this industry. How was incorporating with all your talent and passion, getting into the business part of it? Was that something you already knew? Did you find it as you went along? How did you manage that?
Trial and error in some situations, and then I had a manager when I first really got into the business that I learned a lot from, as far as publishing, different things like that. Still made some mistakes. My biggest mistake was, and I want to say, my heart trusting people, like people that I thought was my friend. Because what I found out in this business, if you get the money, when the money roll in, if that person still stays the same, keep them. Because 95% of the time when the money roll in, the switch up is gonna happen in some type of way. So I found that out getting records placed. Then the money come down the line. Then now the money ain't divvied up the way we said it was gonna be divvied up. You know what I mean? It gets a little crazy. So the business side was definitely trial and error, which I'm glad. So because a lot of mistakes, I think some mistakes need to happen so you don't never make those mistakes again.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I had to realize just because it's the music business and the business go a certain way, that don't mean it has to go that way for me. I'm gonna make it quick, but like I changed the language in a lot of my contracts where they give a producer advance, right?
Okay.
I know you heard that before. When the
Yes.
producer, they give them an advance. I changed it. I don't accept producer advances no more. It's a producer fee. It's all in the language for me.
Oh yeah, because we ain't paying that back.
And that's what a lot of people don't get when they
We ain't pay-
sign the record. It be like, oh yeah, for the producer advance, be like,
Like,
You're paying. This is my producer fee. You're
yes,
paying me for a service. I don't owe you this back. The artist that I'm producing this for owes you this back. So that way, once the publishing comes down the pipeline, I get paid from record one. So I don't wait for you to recoup what you gave him for me to get mine.
that's
So,
right.
but
Business one.
I had to know what's been one of the best things for me, Spud. Like to be able to say no, because even no matter what the situation is, sometimes no is the best thing you can say, because it's like if they know you'll walk away and you got the good, sometimes they understand. Okay, we got to respect him. We got to respect the situation. And I said no to some situations, but it benefited me in the long run.
Yeah, yeah. You most definitely have to say no. You have to create the understanding of your value and the presentation to others
Mm-hmm.
in that many, if not all the time. Now you've been instrumental in doing something, and I don't think people understand how powerful this is. Right, you were part of the '90s Block Party tour. Like you basically curated it, and you brought
My favorite tour.
112 and Jagged Edge, where there was like this. I don't. If people were paying attention, there was
It was a rival.
there was a
It
rivalry. Like
was a rival.
everyone knows
Let's
it was
keep
a
it
rivalry,
100.
and you got this to go. Like I don't think people understand the magnitude of that. But let's talk about that moment and being involved in setting all that up.
And definitely not going to take the credit for putting it together. I was instrumental in helping it to come, like, you know what I mean, to become what it was. But my manager, Melinda Santiago, the fellas themselves, it's a rival, but they all friends. Wingo and Q from 112 are literally best. When I say best friends, but because they had two different groups, you're always gonna get who the best, the Jagged, 112. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So when they call me to be like, "Yo, we want you to MD the tour," I'm like, "What? Two of my favorite groups? Like, oh my god!" So it was crazy, and I went in and really redid all of their music from scratch. Their whole tour, nothing was pre-recorded. Everything you heard on that tour, I did from scratch, and I got a chance to work next to Brooke Payne. If anybody know who Brooke Payne is, New Edition, there we wouldn't know New Edition if it wasn't for Brooke Payne.
Talk about it.
You know what I mean? And I got a chance to work with him 2 times actually. But that '90s Block Party, I tell everybody, out of all the tours I've ever done, that was my favorite tour. To have those two groups on the stage singing each other's song, supporting each other. Man, they did it. They just did that on the New Edition tour.
Okay.
But we did it first, so
Hey, trendsetters, you set it
you know
off.
what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
you set it off. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Greatness will follow, right? Greatness will follow. Now, you not only that tour, but you've been very instrumental in curating and music directing. Was this something that you grew into in the liking, or it kind of just stumbled into your creative mark?
I never even looked for this, bro. Um, I was doing a play. I'm gonna go back to the play. I did plays for a long time. I'm talking about like 10, 15 years. Like that's one of my favorite parts of my life. But I was doing plays, and the first play was Why Good Girls Like Bad Boys, and the music director that was there, we did our first week in Atlanta.
Okay.
But after Atlanta, he wanted more money, so he called them saying, "Yo, I need some more money," and they were like, "We don't have it. We're not paying no more money." And we were supposed to go out in 2 weeks, you know. So he said, "Well, I quit." The lady called me crying, "Marcus, I don't know what I'm going to do." Now, imagine, I'm the new hire. I don't know why she calling me. She should have called the other people that was already there, but she had heard about me and things in the industry, and so she's like, "I don't know what to do. If I don't know where I got the whatever from," I was like, hey, don't worry about it. I got you." When I said that, she said, "Okay." And I ended up being the music director from that point on. And I never not been the music director wherever I've been. So
Wow, that's impactful because you never know what stumbles, and once you ready, what they say, you don't got to get ready
yeah.
once you ready. Now you not only been into the music directing and all that, being an artist for yourself, you kind of always wanted to take the back. You always sat in the back, and I know there was a moment when you was like, you know what, I want to step to the front, the forefront of it.
Mm-hmm.
What brought you to the front of the stage?
I've always messed around with it. Like, okay, I'm gonna do a song. I'm gonna do such. But it wasn't until Dave Hollister called me and was like, bro, you need a record. You need to do an album. I'm like, man, he said, nah, you do a record. And what's funny, I had just lost 100 pounds. So I'm feeling myself too at this point. I'm like, oh man, yeah. And I was like, so you know what? And it was Thanksgiving was coming up. I said, well, Thanksgiving weekend, I'm gonna start. And I started recording my first project, man. All because he called.
Wow, wow. Dave Hollister is not calling a lot of people, my brother. So,
Oh no, that's like when we in the music business, but that's like my big brother for real. Like we text at least 2 or 3 times a month just to say I love you. Like that's my brother.
respect, respect, respect. Now, coming into the music business, we know like from, the eras, it has changed. It has took on many different faces. Now they say, quote unquote, you have to be a content creator. How do you feel about music making today? Like, not preferably how it affects you, but just in general. Like, how do you feel about music business today?
The music business. 'Cause I like the way because you try to say music making, but
Yeah,
music
business.
business,
Yeah.
I it's not cute at all. It's not fun, and it's probably one of the reasons I'm not so gung ho about like doing a record. You know what I mean? I have a record that's 30, like 95% done, bro. Like you know what I mean? But I'm trying to create situations that I'm not just doing the music to just be doing it. I do music. It's a business. I do it to take care of my family.
Yeah.
The whole nine. And the way it's set up now, you can't take care of your family off of this. You get 1 million streams, and you only get that's only one month's house note. Like
Yep.
you know what I mean?
If that word.
If that, like you know what I'm saying. So the I don't even understand how we got stuck in this mode because everybody's scared to do something different. You know what I'm saying? Like I would go back to selling hard copies if I could. You know what I'm saying? But because I'm only one person, the industry is not going to move that way. You know what I'm saying? And people are like, I'm not buying a CD player. Like, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
once you move forward, it's hard to get people to be like, okay, that's dangerous over there. Because we'll get to the end of the cliff, even though it's a cliff, but they told us to go that way. We be like, oh, okay, well, they must know what they're talking about. And we all just keep jumping off the cliff. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel that's where music is right now. We cliff jumping right now.
If you had the magic wand for like the music industry, like you just like, and you like, I'm gonna change this.
Mm-hmm.
What would you change about this game?
Um, wow. I'm trying to give you an answer without giving everybody what I'm doing right now to change it. You know what
Got
I'm trying
okay,
to say?
okay, okay. I
Um,
get you. I get you.
First of all, more more educational stuff. I think people need to be a little more educated. We do a lot of complaining without the education.
I
You
agree.
know, you know what I'm saying. I think we need to teach people the importance of supporting because now we've literally groomed the consumer to want something for nothing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not even so much the artist. The consumer is groomed to want something for nothing. You should be able to access my music anytime you want to for pennies. And if how do you tell somebody that's been doing that for 10 years, hey, we ain't doing that no more?
Yep.
And they don't understand. Like you want to access the music, but not understanding I can't feed my family.
And you
You
want
know,
it for free.
and you want it for free.
You
So
want it for
that's
me.
that's what I would do. Create a situation where we can start educating the consumer to understand the music business hasn't gone on this long because you supported the music business. You bought the records, which brought the money in, which helped the artist tour, which helped the artist live. That's how they're able to come into your city and do concerts. I can't put on a tour on $3,000 from 1 million streams. Like you know what I mean? Like we used to have 1 million sales, I could buy a house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't do that no more.
Yeah, you're right about it. You could damn near pay rent for that price.
Yeah, so the education, I would start educating the people more.
I respect that. Now going back to you with I know you got some things in the working. When it comes to Marcus Devine right now,
Mm-hmm.
when that name is said and when people, what do you want that to represent?
Hold on, you said this. Repeat. I missed it. Say when the what?
When it comes to the name Marcus Devine,
Okay.
and people hear it, what do you want you and your name to represent?
Um, I left it all on the table. You know what I mean? How I felt, how I feel. You know, uh, any idea. I want people to be like, hey, when he leave this earth, he got it all out. You know what I'm saying? Or if he didn't get it all out, he he was doing his best to get it out. You know what I mean? As far as creativity, um, I just want to be me, man. I want people to be like, he loved his life. I say that every day. I love my life, and that's really what I want people to say. Like,
I
yo,
respect that.
he loved his life, whether good, bad, whatever. I don't expect nothing from life. I don't expect. That's why I'm very, very seldom am I disappointed at anything because I don't expect anything. I put in it what it give me. I use that to move on, and what I can make with that, I use that to move further. Like you know what I mean. I don't expect it to give me nothing. So.
I got a question. Shout out to Ivan hailing for listening from Russia right now, and his question is: first of all, he commend you on your respect. He said you speak so respectfully for the art.
Oh
But
wow.
his question is: with all that you've been through, is there ever or any regrets in this game?
Mm, that's a ooh wow. Um yeah. And I hate answering any question like this, but I'm gonna answer this question like this. Yeah and no. Like I literally hate when people answer questions like that because it don't make no sense. But it makes all the sense in the world at this what I'm saying. Yes, there are some things I regret. One is I gave too much to the business. I lost the marriage. You know what I'm saying? Um, because my mindset was work, 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 give it all to sacrifice, give it all to the music. And once that marriage was over, I started living, and I realized that ain't really what life is supposed to be about. And my wife that I'm with now, I enjoy life more with her, and nothing has changed. The music, I still take care of my family. Those are so I would say if anything, not understanding that you don't have to sell everything you got. Is when I say sell everything, I'm saying give this game everything at the expense of your life.
I respect that. I respect that completely, and I understand why you say yes and no because you've learned so much valuable lessons and gems from that. So
Exactly.
you still gained something in power that you could take for the rest of your life. So I
Yeah,
complete.
because the situation I'm in now, I wouldn't trade for the world. I love my wife, like you know what I mean. But also hurt a person with this business. If you
Yeah,
understand what I'm trying to
yeah,
say, like
yeah.
you know.
Most definite. So I do want to. I'll be remiss if I didn't bring knowledge to this. You are actually on tour right now.
Yeah, yeah,
I catch you. I caught you in transition right now.
yeah. Yeah.
Could we can talk a little bit about the tour and where's your next city because we got people listening from all over. They might want to tap in.
Right now I'm on tour with the dope, super death row artist October London, man. I got the call to be his music director, and man, it's been fun. We just got back we had a 3-day weekend. We went to Savannah, Richmond, and Jacksonville. I just got back today. When I tell you, when I go to bed tonight, oh my God, I'm gonna sleep so good. I've been traveling all day, but yeah, I'm on tour with him right now.
And what's the next stop?
Uh, L.A.
L.A.
and Oakland this weekend coming. Yeah.
Ooh, look at that. And we got we got some Oakland, LA people on the chat right now. So most
Mhm.
definitely tap in on that. So besides the chat and everything, I mean the tour and everything, and I know there's some things you got in the tuck, but
Yeah.
what's in the future? Like what could we expect and some of the stuff that you could talk about that we could look
Uh,
forward to?
Um, I'm definitely gonna finish the project, but once I solidify one of the things that's gonna help the industry, you know what I mean. So that's what I'm working on that at the same time that I'm doing the tour. I'm staying up late figuring it out. Get some things done with that. So that's what's on my heart. I have an app called GIYs, which is that helps people that's diabetics, eat better and make better decisions with their food. So to continue to build on that. I got a few projects, that's not even music based. It's just life based. You know what I'm saying? It's just things to help us in life. But as far as music, it's something real big. I wish I could talk. I wish this was a month later that I can't talk about right now. But it's gonna be real huge, man. Ah, man.
We gonna keep our eyes open. We're gonna keep our eyes open. I was gonna bring the
Please do.
GIYs app and talk about you designed this app.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Could you talk about the approach of why and a little bit more in depth of what this app is, because it could be very useful for some of our listeners.
Well, I went through a phase, man, where my feet was burning, bro, and my vision was getting blurry. Now, mind you, diabetes was always the thing I was scared of. I've never really been scared of like high blood pressure and that like that. But I'm like, I don't want diabetes. Get my feet cut off and my, hands. Just I was scared, and I was on tour, but I was just drinking a lot of juice, and I don't drink a lot of juice. But
Okay.
I guess because the sugar was high, you just want more sugar. You go to the restroom, you use the restroom. Now I want something else to drink. Mouth always dry. Just my sugar was out of order, and I didn't know.
Mm.
So once I realized what it was, I ended up going on a diet. Like I've lost 100 pounds since all of that. Um, I made GIYs because now I live my life by trying to figure out where food sits on the glycemic index, whether it's high, medium, or low. I try to stay in the low register so it don't raise my blood pressure. I mean my blood sugar. So
Okay.
I created GIYs where you can, just say if you want to drink something, you can scan it with your phone and it'll tell you like, no, it's either high, medium, or low. If it's medium, high, or high, I don't drink it. So
Gotcha. People check that out. Check that most definitely. I was looking into that myself, and it was really interesting. So I most definitely wanted to have you highlight and talk about the reason why and all what brought that about. Now, there's only one question that I really ask everyone the same on every show, and that question is, if you could look back at the young Marcus Devine and tell yourself anything, my brother, like what would you share to yourself?
um, wait to get married. And when I say that would fix the situation I talked about earlier. Like nobody would get hurt. Then I could focus on what I wanted to do. And imagine I'm happy with my life. It's not in a regret situation. But if I could tell my youngster, it's like, yo, stay focused. Stay, life, you're gonna be good. So that's what I would have told myself. Just be patient and be all right. That's really it. I would have ran this race with a little more patience.
Gotcha. Now, for artists that are on and those that are listening, whether they on MJMG Presents app or Bushwick Radio, if you could share a word of advice for the artists of today, and I know taking your patience and focusing is most definitely one, but if you could share a word of advice to the typical artist today, what kind of advice would you give them?
Don't get sucked into the AI vortex. And when I say that, they've made it so easy to use AI to get your ideas out. And this is not a bash or a thing of getting. I think AI is a great tool depending on how it's used.
Hmm.
But what I'm realizing and I'm hearing, even in some big music, I heard the new record that just came out Friday. I don't want to say his name because people get so sensitive about him. The first song that come on, I could tell that there's AI in the song. Like, you know what I mean, as far as the music, the instrumentation is concerned. Um, it's taking over and it's starting to make the music feel a little sterile.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And if you do anything, always do you. Use it as a tool because the one thing that can always be pivoted is you. If you need to change something, you can change it. But if you're not learning it, if you're not studying, you don't have the tools to change it. You got to wait on AI to say, okay, it's all right to change it. Oh, all right, now do this. You're
Hmm.
gonna you're gonna always be led as opposed to you're leading what's going on. So that's what I'll tell you.
My brother, we had a whole week conversation of this, so you just I give you a round of applause for that. You just compressed everything that we had a whole conversation on, and I see in the chat somebody said oops, laugh out loud, because they were there for this same conversation.
Wow.
So we see that the feelings resonate the same. If there's people that interested in working with you, or even learning and having further conversations, are you open to that? And if you are, what's the best way for people to like reach out and have that conversation?
All the time. You can reach me on social media on Marcus the Heat Miser Devine on Facebook, and on Instagram is the Heat Miser, and that starts with a DAHEATMIZER_new_page. So the Heat Miser's new page. That's on Instagram. So
Gotcha. Now I gotta ask. I gotta ask about the Heat Miser. That was actually on the top of my list today. That I was like things that I knew about you, and I just put it all on a paper. But could you? Where did that come from? I'm so curious.
you know where that come from. Come on now. Hey, nah, if you want A Christmas Without Santa Claus is one of my favorite cartoons when I was little, bro.
I
Like,
get.
I used to watch it in the summertime in my studio. I just come in the studio and put it on, and it just be playing. This is a Christmas movie in the middle of summer.
Mm-hmm.
But the Heat Miser was Mr. Freeze's brother in
Yes.
that cartoon, and for whatever reason, bro, he stuck out to me as a kid. Like every year, I waited on it.
Mm, yep.
Listen, every year I'm like, that I couldn't wait, man. So
I knew. I just needed the context for the
I
people.
knew you did. That's the way you asked. That's why I was like, I know you asked me. I knew you did.
We know we in the era of everybody getting their flowers. That's a big thing right now. Everybody gets their flowers.
Hmm.
But here on MJMG Presents by SHU Radio, we don't give our flowers, we give our honor, because flowers do die, but honor lasts forever. And I want to take this time to give you your honor. For a brother that came from all kinds of circumstances that you've lived, and you don't have to represent and be, but you keep the humbleness to keep growing and offering situations for people to further grow within those situations. You're a great example, and you take your experiences and use them as tools to share. And as you continue growing within your own self, you still wish and push to create things to help unify, grow, and insight for other people. So with that being said, my brother, we want to give you your round of applause and your honor here on MJMG Presents SHU Radio, man. I really appreciate that.
Thanks,
Now,
bro.
before I let you go, I want to leave the floor. If there's anything you want to share, anything you want to say, anything you got going on, please, my brother, the floor is yours.
Well, I just want to say thank you, man, for opening up your platform to let me come on and talk and introduce me to your audience. You know what I mean? I don't take that for granted, and I definitely appreciate that. And I ain't stopping till they throw the dirt on me. You know what I mean? And I can't even tell you what's next. Whatever that phone rings and what they call for me to do, I don't. Like I said, I live life without expectations. I wrote a song called "Your Best," and the very first line of that song is, "Expectations bring frustrations." That's the very first line of that song, and that's how I live my life. I don't expect anything. You know what I mean? Whatever life give me, then I figure out what I'm supposed to do with that. So.
I dig that, and I love that. We most definitely have the same pipeline of thoughts, my brother. Again, I want to thank you for coming on the show, sharing your energy. We look forward to the big things that's going on. So we're gonna keep our eyes and ears open, and maybe in the future you could come on and share some more insights when things progress. But again,
Definitely.
I wanna thank you again, my brother. You have a great night. Get some rest. Do what you gotta do, man. Enjoy, man. But again, thank you.
No, thank you, bro.
All right, you have a good night.
You too, bro.
Oh man, shout out to everybody that was on right now. That was Marcus Devine. Shout out to everybody on the MJMG Presents app. And shout out to everybody on the Bushwick Radio. I want to send a big shout out to Ron Lefford for setting it up and bringing some people, great people amongst great people to do great things for greater people. So shout out to everybody that was on submitting. I'm about to give my final word, but I'm going to play a little bit of music before I go. But we're going to go into Marcus Devine's greatest show. We're going to go into that, get some music going, and then we'll have a little conversation a little bit after. And don't leave before you hear the final word. Check this out. This is Marcus Devine, greatest show.
What's up, Tiny Desk? My name is Marcus Devine. And this right here is the greatest show. Let's go. Say I'ma give you the greatest show. Oh, listen. Come on, let's grind the Kama Sutra and add a new page. Yeah. On this bed, I will perform just like it's my stage. Yeah. Sold out show for a crowd of only one. Best seat in the whole damn house. Baby, right down front. Tell the light man, turn the lights down low. Come on, baby, ready, set, go. You know what you came here for. It's about to be. It's about to be the greatest show on earth. Yeah, greatest show on earth. So this is what I do. My first action hour, and it's dedicated to you. It's about to be the greatest show. The greatest show on earth. The greatest show on earth tonight. Hey, I might have to autograph that cookie. Come on and bring it to me. Let me write my name all on it, girl. And I can't wait to touch ya. Damn, I don't need no ushers, 'cause I got this handled. Trust me. It's about to be. It's about to be the greatest show on earth. Yeah, greatest show on earth. And you won't believe. You won't believe just how I put in work. Yeah, how I put in work. So you don't need a rehearsal. This is what I do. My first action hour is dedicated to you. Yeah. It's about to be the greatest show on earth. Yeah. The greatest show on earth tonight. It's about to be the greatest show on earth. The greatest show on earth tonight. I promise you, it's gonna be the greatest show on earth tonight. Break it down one time. Said it's gonna be the greatest show. Said it's gonna be the greatest show. It's gonna be the greatest show that you've ever seen. It's gonna be the greatest show you've ever seen. Thank you, Tiny Desk. My name is Marcus Devine.
That right there was Marcus Devine with the greatest show. Shout out to everybody that was listening on today. I want to send a big shout out to everybody that's on. If you've been waving at me on Instagram for some reason, I don't have the wave hand, so I'm not ignoring anybody. I just want to do a disclaimer. But I want to shout out everybody that was listening. I want to give y'all the final word. I want to give y'all the final word today. If y'all didn't get anything from today, take this with you. Sometimes we get so caught up in our passions and what we're doing, we forget the relationships and the things that are around us that need that balancing. He said, if he could go back, he would pace things because he was so focused on something and he thought being on his grind meant much. And in the process of his grind, he sacrificed some of the things around him. And he said something that was very powerful. He said, I learned a lot from this. I gained so much from this, but I hurt someone. Sometimes when we in our pursuits, even with the purity of our hearts, we be so locked in with our blinders. We got to get to this goal. And some of the things and the elements and the people around us that are there are not only there because they're neutrally respected for us, but they're there because of a connection. And sometimes we get lost in the goal and we ruin the connections. And when you mess up the connections around you, the goal don't mean the same. But in your journey, maintain this humbleness and keep the aspect to grow, to gain, to better yourself. And in the process of learning and bettering yourself, don't forget those that might not have the insight. Don't forget the you and the people you might have passed, because you might look at yourself the same way you looked at people who didn't help. Shout out to everybody that was on tonight. We rocked out with Devine. He had a lot of great things. Real humble brother. He's done a lot of work. If you just tuning in, the brother did work with Destiny's Child, 112, Aaliyah, Charlie Wilson, like Uncle Wilson, B. Like, I don't think people understand that right there. Faith Evans. He's done so much. He's had written records since 13, had placement records at 16, been on multiple tours, helped tours. He's done it all, so you might want to tap in. I want to send a big shout out to everybody that always support the show, and I want to send another big shout out to my boy Ron Ledford. Much love for the setup and the alley-oop. We're gonna close it out with one more record. This is called Fire. This is featuring Marcus Devine. Y'all have a good night. See y'all next Monday. Check out this Wednesday for the A&R Desk. That's 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Y'all have a good night. Keep creative, and remember, don't just keep your blinders focused on your goal. Make sure your goals bring everything that could blind everything else. Let's check this out, y'all. Have a good night.